Well, Grand Risings, y'all. How goes it? Welcome back to Consciously Unconscious. Me, um, Mayu here, and I wanted to come and talk to you all about the full moon energies because we have a full moon coming up tomorrow on May 18th, right? And this is a big deal because it is a Scorpio full moon, but actually today, May 17th, the moon will be fully in Scorpio. And then tomorrow on the 18th, it'll be in Scorpio, but transitioning or changing into Sagittarius. So you will feel the full effects of a Scorpio moon actually today. And I was originally going to do a video about expectations, but I felt divinely guided to uh, do this instead because expectations came up in some of the cards that you see on the table. And one of those I will actually read at some point in this video. But I have a lot to unpack with what's going on with today's energy and everything like that because as you might know, and if you don't, I'm just going to tell you everything is connected. I'm pretty sure I've said that in videos past, but if I haven't, I'm just going to say it again. Everything in the cosmos, in the universe, in the galaxies, whatever you reference it as, is connected. And you will see that when I start to break down these cards to you. And so because it's a lot to unpack, I don't want to ramble too much. I tried to write some things down, but my writing is just like my talking. I just kind of scribble as it comes to me because spirit gives me these insights and I'm trying to write it down and come to a full understanding at the same time. And some of it I get, but not all of it. I don't want to go too deep into astrology in this particular conversation because that will just further make this video even longer, or you know, yeah, it'll just make the video longer. But I will talk about some of the astrology simply because the moon is in Scorpio, right? So Scorpio obviously plays a big part, and because it's transitioning into Sagittarius, that also plays a big part. So Scorpio is about death and rebirth. Sagittarius is about learning, enlightenment, and it also goes into religion as well. And as you can see with some of the cards on the table, you'll see we have the Hierophant, Temperance, Death, Tower. Okay, so that's all death, rebirth, transformation, balance, Scorpio, Sagittarius energy, fire and water, balancing out your emotions with your will, because fire is about your will. So it's balancing your will with your emotions. And you also have earth cards on the table that represent earth and air. So even all of the elements are here: fire, earth, air, water, and the ether or spirit. All of that is here. Also, look, if you know anything about tarot and numerology, you'll see that the tarot cards that I have laid out are linked linked in numerology. Okay, so when you break down 17, and I also pulled out some of my angel guidance cards. I don't think that's what they're called. They're called the Crystal Mandela Oracles, but it represents like the angels, ascended masters, and goddesses that might be in your energetic sphere wanting to work with you. So I pulled some of those cards out too, just to show you how everything is connected. So you'll see that like the 17 is the star, and I'm going to try and keep this in order. Okay. I'll try, but I'm already a little off, but let me just start with the moon. Okay. So the moon typically accentuates or highlights your emotions. Yeah, I could talk about cycles because the moon goes in cycles, but everything goes in cycles. Okay. So I'm just going to stick to emotions when it comes to the moon. And because the moon is in Scorpio, the emotions might be overwhelming. And as you can see from the cards on the board, it very well might be overwhelming. It's a lot going on. You are being challenged with your hopes and dreams and your desires. You need to have strength to manifest this kind of stuff. You know, you have the Empress here, which is, you know, being able to manifest certain things in your life, manifest what you want. The Chariot is moving forward and having victory. The Hierophant is your religious beliefs and learning, teaching and learning as well. Temperance is about balancing out all of this, right? Then, of course, you have Death, which is just that, death and rebirth or enlightenment. Then the Tower is about swift change and also a little bit of enlightenment. Okay, so it's a lot. The Emperor here is also your will, your ego. I would even give that strength and what you are standing in your power to create. Okay, so then you have the Empress and the Emperor, which is the divine feminine and the divine masculine, or your masculine and feminine aspects of yourself, bringing those together to balance you out or reconcile your masculine and feminine, because we all have a masculine and a feminine side to us. It's just which one are you living in more, which one is more prominent in certain moments. And there are times when you need to tap into more of your femininity and more of your masculinity. You need to tap into those at different times, more than you do the other one. I hope that makes sense. So with the moon, today it rises at 7:09. Okay, and 7 plus 9, 16. That's a 7. It sets at 5:46. 5 plus 4 plus 6 is 15 plus 6. So I've said in previous videos that 9 is the divine number. It's a number of completion, and it's considered the divine number for many reasons. But one of them is because when you add anything to 9, eventually it's going to go back to itself. So, you know, you do this 7 plus 9, 16, it equals 7. In numerology, you break down double digits to get to a single digit, with the exception of 11 and 22. I know I've said that before too, but I just want to reiterate that. So, with that, you know, 9 is, like I said, the completion or the end of a cycle. So we are being asked to look at what it is that needs to be removed from our life, what is near. And also, let me say, it's a waxing gibbous moon, and a waxing gibbous is right before the full moon, and it represents your growth and expansion and breaking free of binds. And that's essentially what we are being asked to break free of. And with the waxing gibbous too, it's shining light on what is nearly complete in your life. It's not quite, it's close to completion, and it can be completed with the full moon, because the full moon is about endings, right? It's a 10. It's going to end something old in your life. So 10 is endings and beginnings. You're starting over, because it has, when you break the 10 down, it goes to a 1. So you're starting over from scratch. Okay, you are starting a new cycle. Okay, so uh, what was I saying? I'm sorry. Like I said, it's a lot to unpack. So with this moon today, this Scorpio moon today, the moon is 14 days old, which equals a 5. 5 is change, freedom of expression, and love. Today is also the 17th, which equals a 8. 8 is wisdom and active independence. And then we are in a 3-year, right? And also a 5-month. But since we already have the 5 here, I didn't really separate it out as just talking about, the 5th month. But we do have the 5 here, and we have the Hierophant. The Hierophant is astrologically linked to the sign of Taurus. May is, Taurus energy. Okay. But again, I didn't want to get too deep into the astrology, because then that would bring in how planets are shifting, because you'll see we have some a whole lot of that energy. Like you have the Aquarius, Virgo, Cancer, and that energy is here. And it's probably something that's going on with the planetary shifts. You even have like Mars, Jupiter, Pluto, because they rule the different signs. Okay. So just think about that when I say that everything is connected. It's all here, and we are shifting. Today is going to be a little overwhelming emotionally, because you have a lot going on, and it's going to be emotionally and mentally that you are shifting and being asked to consider what it is you need to give up and what it is you want to move forward with, the Chariot, moving forward. I like also what the definitions of these cards say, because again, it coincides with what we are being faced with. And I love that the 7 is sacred play, because we are all going through so much that spirit and the universe is giving us a sense of humor in it all, and giving us things to lighten up the mood, because 7 is sacrifice, learning through sacrifice. And with that sacrifice, that is acknowledging the fact that you have to make a choice, something that you're going to hold on to or let go. And that is essentially what sacrifice is. You're going to let go of something, sacrifice, letting this go, and then gaining something else, right? So that's the learning through sacrifice. But it won't be so heavy that you can't find humor in it, and see the brighter side of it, get some laughs, some jokes out of what you might be experiencing. Learning to be objective in it all. And, like I said, with the wisdom, with 8 being, wisdom, your vision, you being able to stand strong in what it is you want, what it is you're seeing, and having the strength to voice it to yourself, voice it to the universe, and voice it to everybody else around you. Have the strength to stand in your authenticity. With 14, it's purification, but that breaks down to a 5, which is your individuality. Okay. You are, your beliefs are being challenged. everybody's beliefs are being challenged, and we are being asked to change from a fear-based way of living to a unconditional love way of living, if that makes sense. And the Empress is all about unconditional love, okay? The divine mother, Mother Earth, manifesting unconditional love, okay? But you need to be balanced in your emotions and mental state to be able to bring forth any type of what am I trying to say here? To manifest positivity, to manifest purity, okay? Because you can have things that are unhealthy for you. You have your, I really hate saying good and bad, because good and bad brings about duality. It brings about conflict and strife within. So that's why I don't really like to say good or bad, right or wrong. It's being objective and understanding what is beneficial for you and what is not in your highest good. Okay. Or yeah, just it's really no way around using good and bad, but you get the gist of what I'm saying, I hope. With the Emperor here and right up under the death card, that's like that ego death. But also with that ego death being transformed into using your manifestation abilities to create unconditional love, to create good, better things for your highest good and everybody else's highest good. Standing in your power to be enlightened and help to enlighten others. And that's that divine perfection, right? You are experiencing this death, this ego death, and then you rise again. So the tiger spirit rises, you rise again in divine perfection to create something much better than what was previously there. And with this tower, it has the healing heart. And so I think when people see the tower come up in tarot, they think all things bad. It's just all bad when you see this tower. The tower can be good as well, because it's forcing you to acknowledge what does not work for you, what's going on in your heart space. And once you acknowledge what's going on in your heart space, being able to heal that, change it. And you might not always be able to do it quickly, but it's that take action. Hurry up and, take this action of healing. And I shouldn't say hurry up and take this action, but just take the action to healing. It's going to come in quick. This change is going to come in quick. And are you going to have the strength to stand and face what you are being challenged with, to get this victory and move forward and heal even your inner child? Because what do children like to do? They want to play. They want to be set free and not confined. And that's what we are being asked to acknowledge with this Scorpio full moon. So that's why I say it's going to be overwhelming, because you have a lot coming in. Hopes, fears, dreams, aspirations, things that you need to get rid of, things that you are trying to manifest. What are you bringing into your reality? What are you bringing into this earthly realm? Okay, so that is a big deal for us today. You're going to feel that. So you probably started feeling it days ago, but it's really going to be heavy on you today, because that full, or that the moon is actually in Scorpio completely today, starting at 7:09 p.m. is when it's going to rise. So I'm going to try and move this to the side because this is today's energy. Just stack that and stack these. So you'll still feel even this energy come tomorrow. I'm going to put the Empress back over here with that number 3 because this is where we are in the year. Okay, I should probably put the 5 back over here too, but since we already talked about it, I don't want to make that too long. We all know, like I said, 5 is change and freedom of expression, and that's what we are being called to actively live out, that freedom of expression and being authentically ourselves. Okay, so then tomorrow is the actual full moon, and full moons represent completion, like I said, and the moon will be 15 days old, which is a 6. Tomorrow is the 18th, which is a 9. There's that 369. I've talked about this in previous videos. That 369 is the conscious realm. We are globally being asked to awaken, shift our consciousness, and that's what ascension and awakening is. It's about shifting your consciousness from fear-based mentality to an unconditional love mentality and being able to manifest better things in your life. That's that 369. Okay. But then you have the 6 plus 9, which is 15, goes back to a 6. 6 plus 9 plus 3 is 18, goes back to that 9. Okay. Then you have this moon is going to rise at 8:20, which is a 10, and it's going to set at 6:22, which is also a 10. Endings and beginnings. Okay. And then it's transitioning from Scorpio to Sagittarius. Sagittarius moon energy can be it's vivid. Okay, so it's illuminating and enlightening you into a new way of being. Okay, that Scorpio is your end, that death and transformation, or death and rebirth, and then Sagittarius is moving into that enlightened stage. And then with that, with the 6, you have the Chariot and I'm sorry, not the Chariot, the Lovers. And then you have the 15, the 15 breaks down to the 6. 15 is the devil energy. 18 is the moon energy, and it breaks down to 9, which is the hermit. And that's going within to get enlightenment and learn a different way. There are things that you may not necessarily see, because moon energy can be things that are hidden and not necessarily known to you right away. You feel it because the moon is also your intuition, following your intuition, going within and getting to know yourself, and learning to trust your intuition, because that's what the hermit is, going within, taking a step back from everything and everybody and following your intuition. And with the Lovers and the devil, so in tarot, when you see the devil, people think it's all bad. I know it's based on addictions and codependencies, and sometimes it can also be passion. In Hebrew terms, incoming call. Whoops. Sorry, y'all. I didn't know that was going to do that. I actually muted my phone and it still came through because it's through the speakers. I'm sorry. Um, so, call rejected. Sorry again. The Hebrew meaning for the devil is vision, okay, or clear vision. So this devil energy here is asking you to um, look into what your base desires are and get a clear understanding about it. And the lovers can represent love as well as making a decision. And I truly believe that this is um, about making a decision when it comes to love and moving out of fear, coming out of fear based living and moving into unconditional love. It's all right there, it's connected. Even in loving in relationships, this is asking you to analyze, go within, and figure out what you feel intuitively about your desires, your relationships, and make a decision about it. You'll get this revelation. Okay, that's what this card is, revelation. Grace for the grand gesture. To me, this is you um, aligning to make this decision. When you get this revelation, to make this decision and live in it. Okay, you've gone within and you're listening to your intuition, because this is support and this is heavenly mercy, and you are getting support from the universe, your ancestors, your guides, your angels, and the elements. Because when you call on the elements, there are little beings that even rule the elements. That's why when I do like a tarot reading, I call upon the elementals who are controlling or balancing out the different elements. Okay, so you are getting support from all of those beings to have this revelation, make this decision, and align and actually get to a point where you go ahead and make this gesture toward accepting um, a reality of unconditional love. Okay, and even living in your intuition. Now in this energy, not all the elements are here. This is just earth, air, and water. And why that is important, because water is your emotions, air is your thinking. So you are being forced with that tower energy and that death energy and all of the other energies of today. Tomorrow, it's bringing in that universal force of balancing out your emotions. That's that temperance energy, that Sagittarius energy with that Scorpio energy. You're being forced to balance out your emotions with your thinking and to manifest it in the earthly realms. Earth, mind, emotions, earth, manifesting. Okay, bringing all of that into your reality. You are a co-creator with God and or the divine spirit of life. You are God, and the divine is that higher power. You have godly powers to co-create and manifest the reality that you want. And that's what this full moon energy is about. That's what today's waxing moon energy about. And when I did the video a few days ago about how the planets are shifting in the retrogrades and all of that is playing a part in what we are going through on a global level, cosmically, macrocosm, microcosm. We are parts of, we are a small part of a bigger whole. Everybody has their role that they must play. And because we all have our role that we must play, we are being aligned. We are being forced to let some stuff go. And it's not just a little stuff, it's a lot of stuff. We are being forced to release what does not allow us to live in our authenticity. That is a huge deal for us, because when we live in our authenticity, it becomes a domino effect to help others live in their authenticity. Not everybody is at the same level. I've said this. Not everybody is ascending at the same rate as somebody else. And that's not good or bad. It's just not everybody is awakening at the same time. We are all awakening. We are all being changed consciously with that 369 energy, because it rules this plane. It rules the earthly plane, I will say. So we are all being shifted consciously to a higher level of being. But not everybody is going to make it there at the same time. So when you learn to live in your authenticity, you are being called. It is your mission. It is your life's plan to also help somebody else learn to live in their authenticity. This doesn't mean that that's all you are meant to do. You are meant to do great things and other things, and also be happy for yourself. But then spread that happiness so that we ascend and the earth shifts back to a harmonious state of being, because we are all connected. Nobody is separate. And when we start to realize that we are not separate from each other, we are not separate from nature, we are not separate from the cosmos, it eliminates that duality. It eliminates that need to judge somebody as good or bad. We can step back and be objective and say, hey, right now they are just in a place and space that is not healthy for them, and it's not healthy for me. So I don't want to bring that energy into my sphere. I will be at a distance and try to help them as much as I can, but I won't accept that into my sphere because it'll contaminate me. Okay. And that was it. I did want to read, I believe it was, yes, the devil. Nope. It was this tiger with the death. And then I believe it was the devil energy, but I'm going to read definitely this one. The death with the Scorpio energy. I want to read what this card says. Okay. Because I thought it was very, it was on point for what I was talking about. And also all of these cards like this, that I ended up pulling out are a 444. I don't know if you can really see that, but it has 444 on it. Excuse me. And 444 is an angel number, which means that your angels are everywhere. You are completely loved and supported and guided by heavenly beings and have nothing to fear. So in this process that is going to be a little overwhelming and that can be very challenging, you are supported. You are very much supported, and you have all of your angelic beings around you. Like that's, what that star card can also represent, being divinely protected. Okay. Now, while I was chit-chatting, I should have still been flipping trying to find this card, but I did not. And I really didn't want to have this video 17 hours long, but it's going to be what it's going to be, y'all. Okay. So with this card, the divine is loving, tender, and merciful. It is compassion, wisdom, and peace. It is also wild. This means it is what it is, natural and free, with an instinct towards growth. It will not always make sense to the logical mind. Do you look at nature and understand her wild ways? Sometimes they make no sense. At other times, they are unfathomable to the mind. We may recoil or admire her handiwork, but life through her wild grace thrives. The divine spirit in you is wild too. It needs to grow, and it will throw off any confines to its freedom to be what it is. It may take time, lifetimes in fact, yet when the strength has been built up sufficiently within, those who seek to control or tame you had better watch out. This is not selfish, nor is it cruel. It is not abandonment or betrayal. It is not escapism or immaturity. To shed conditioning one layer at a time takes courage. You have to trust in a self you don't fully recognize as yet. Your mind may tell you that if you do not play by the rules and force yourself to behave in particular ways as dictated by society, you'll become a monster without compassion, value, or lovableness, or that you'll become lazy, rejected, selfish, or alone. These fears, these are fears the mind holds on to that help you. I'm sorry. These are fears the mind holds on to that keep you caged. What happens when you tap into your wildness is that authenticity is discovered. You find out who you are. You give yourself permission to recognize that you are a spiritual being. You allow yourself to operate in broader ways than those dictated by society. You trust in spiritual laws, and you are willing to take risks to bring authentic creative vision to life. When society tells you that for you to be successful, you must walk a particular way at a particular or walk a particular path at a particular time and in a particular way, you roar at it. You eschew that sort of fearful narrow-mindedness and jump on the back of your wild tiger nature, living life as a colorful, vibrant experience, which is unpredictable at times and yet so much more deeply soul satisfying than anything playing by society's rules could have brought to you. I love that. And then that wasn't really the one I wanted to read, but that was one of them. Oh, and then this one, I'll read a little bit of this one. This was the other one that came up when I was talking about expectations. Okay. And where did it go? This one, the heart healing, which was with the tower. Okay. The heart is an incredible phenomenon. It works on a physical level tirelessly to keep your body alive. It works spiritually to integrate the messages of the universal heart of the divine into your field, helping you receive guidance for your life journey. The heart is your wise guide, friend, and inspiration for growth. Recognizing your heart is capable of being broken and growing back stronger and more loving as it heals is an is an incredible accomplishment and a reminder of how amazing you are and how truly powerful love can be. The heart also creates its own electrical field. Without saying a word, your heart speaks volumes. It can change the atmosphere in a room, the thought in someone's mind, the feelings in their body, and create a container into which spiritual grace and light can enter to work its own brilliant form of healing magic. There is wisdom to the heart that cuts through the confusion of the mind. When the heart knows something, it just knows, even if there is every reason logically why the truth should be otherwise. The heart works on an intuitive plane and insight rather than a logical plane of reasoning. It can sense the truth of a situation in an instant, where the mind may be able to argue on one side, then the exact opposite equally convincingly before ending up somewhat confused. The mind has great value and is a wonderful asset on the path, but if we allow it to run roughshod over the truths of the heart, we will miss out on so much beauty along our journey. while taking a far longer time to get to where we need to be. Because this video is kind of already long, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to finish reading it, y'all. With this oracle, you are being given a layered message. Firstly, your heart is going through a healing. You are learning to open your heart and love yourself and the world in a new way. It will be a beautiful experience of greater closeness and connection to the divine. As your heart opens, there may be a clearing of old issues that have prevented it from opening more fully in the past. These issues may be fear of abandonment, rejection, disappointment, or betrayal. There may be old issues to do with trust and feeling safe and being vulnerable that arise. Don't worry or believe you are going backwards on your healing path. These are symptoms of heart healing, of letting go and shedding past pain. Even if grief or sadness arises, let it flow and be released. Your heart wants to be free to love, and it knows how to heal itself. Honor and support this process by expressing your feelings and loving yourself as unconditionally as you can. Secondly, your heart is guiding you, leading you, even pushing you through the deeper desires you feel within. It is not foolish fancy speaking to you. It is genuine guidance of your heart, encouraging your mind to recognize your true path in life. Listen to the feelings of your heart as you begin to understand the ways it speaks to you. Then you can benefit from the divine wisdom it expresses, which is already within you, just waiting to be acknowledged. Finally, never doubt the power of your heart to heal even the most seemingly intractable, impossible situations. You must detach from the outcome. It will be for the greatest good, even if that doesn't match what you think would be best in the circumstances. But when you speak from your heart, divine healing happens according to love's wisdom. When you place your hand on your heart and speak simply to the universe, asking for healing on whatever issue is troubling you, you are using the power of your heart to trigger an outpouring of love from the universal heart. Ask for what you need, for what you want, according to your divine birthright. Know that your heart is your ally, your best friend, and your guiding light with you for your entire life, shining the truth of unconditional divine love from within. Whenever you need reminding, you are special, you are worthy, and you are absolutely loved. And that is it in a nutshell. Overall, what we are being faced with right now on a global level with the shifting of the planets and even this moon cycle. And I hope you all got some understanding and wisdom and awareness and a shift in your consciousness with this video. Thanks for watching. I love you all. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I will holler at you in the next one.